What's up, everybody? We are just about to get started here. Uh, we have the Superman commission that we started yesterday, and we're going to get into it in just a second here. I'm trying to orient myself with where I thought I was the last time. I'm also going to show you one of the flatting tricks that I was doing yesterday, but we're going to slow it down a little. Kyler was writing to me and he was like, "How in the hell were you flatting that fast?" So we're going to show you. We're going to slow it down, but since we were playing music before when the stream was setting up, I want to give enough time just in case Twitch mutes it or YouTube mutes it. So we're going to show you the flatting trick a little bit later. Um, for right now, so here's one of the things that I was thinking about when we left this, is that it's kind of twilight-ish, and we want to amp that up. And we also want to turn on some lights in the city. But it's twilight, so like the lights aren't going to cast like they're not going to be overwhelming, you know. Oh, we figured all this out before. Past Nick Filardi has helping us. Uh, yeah, so we're gonna kind of put a little bit more blue into the top here. Maybe just a normal grad. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect as I change it. Yeah, a little bit more blue. We're gonna put just a hint of some stars in there too. So we're gonna just grab a color from down here. You know what? Actually, we could get a little crazy with the stars. I got a little star brush, like a little splatter that I made forever ago. We could get a little crazy with this green. See, like it looks like shit down there, but it looks kind of neat up there. Maybe we just lighten up the green. I mean, I don't know. Green stars. Maybe that doesn't work. So now we're getting boxed in by. See, that looks a little better. Hey, hey. Uh, we're getting boxed in by choices that we made before because, like I said before, the easy way to do this would have been to just make it daytime and bright and whatever. But we did not do that because we're not smart. We're gonna instead make it difficult. We're gonna try new things. So instead, I'm gonna try and make this palette work and make it a little better. Hey Kyler, what's up? Uh, so we're playing with stars right now. So I think that's kind of good, but those are like kind of too many stars, if that makes any sense. So we're gonna try to kind of cut it there and then uh, run a grad through it. That starts to look weird. Maybe we can't cut it. We're playing with the background a little bit before we get into the rest of this. You know what? Actually, oh, that looks a lot better. Now we're really thinking. Um, so, yeah, we're gonna kind of just take out some of these big chunks so that it looks a little less like right now it kind of looks like the whole thing just kind of cuts off right down here. Uh, let's fix that. Here, we can do this for accuracy. So I can like definitely see where all the stars are. This grad is so fierce that like I feel like I gotta shrink the brush. I'm leaving like little dots. I mean, they're minuscule. You won't be able to tell when you zoom out, but like when you zoom in, like look at these things. I don't know. You know what? Let's use like a chunky brush so that it looks like I'm doing that shit on purpose. Uh, this is the thing. If you look like you're doing it on purpose, then you can get away with it. That's a life lesson for anyone out there. See, it just adds a little tooth to the thing. A little bit of tooth. Um, we're gonna do the same up here a little bit on some of the bigger chunks. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, hope I'm doing you proud. Uh, Unfortunately, I'm not gonna pass on the high resolution to you guys because then I'm starting to work for free. But you can definitely like hang out and enjoy the piece. Like, and I'm gonna post the JPEG up on Twitter as well. But yeah, cool. It's a good piece. It's a good commission. All right, so we kind of, I don't know, blotched up the sky a little bit. What if I wonder, can we just like add a little bit of tooth in? If that'll look okay. Maybe not. Okay, so sky's taken care of. So I'm gonna go over one of the flattening techniques. We'll save it here so that I don't screw anything up and nothing is unrecoverable. We'll duplicate the state. So I wanted to talk about flattening. So like this hand is kind of a complicated shape, but let's go somewhere else. Okay, so let's say that we were doing flats and we had to separate this Superman shape. Now I'm going to go a little slower. So what I'm looking at is, all right, how do we get inside? Like if we wanted the outside right now with CMYK, so we're doing the whole layer. First of all, I'm working in like this flat layer here. I'm only working in one layer. I don't know why there's two. I might have accidentally duplicated at sometime along the way. But yeah, so there's one layer. Oh, we did the stars up here. Check that layer. One layer. Now there is. So we want to separate Superman from the sky, right? So we can be like, okay, we're just going to do a quick color for Superman. Not like that, underneath the black. So we deselected the black channel, turned the little eyeball on. So we're coloring on cyan, magenta, yellow. Boom, we're underneath the black, everything's fine. Black layer is still intact. If you want to, here, you can see black layer still intact, and then this is the color. So what we would do on this complex shape is we'd take like a little dot, that is a giant dot. This is a terrible brush for this. This is already going swimmingly. That's better. All right, 100% opacity. This is just a pencil brush. So we kind of like visually go around and see, all right, where does it leak? Like if we select this, you're selecting like, make sure contiguous is on. We're selecting into the shape, but not over here. Like this is properly sealed up right here, up in the corner. It's properly sealed up down here, but like we got a leak in here and whatever. So what I'm basically gonna do is just plug the leaks and take a color, this color that we're making the outside of Superman. I'm gonna be like, okay, where are the leaks? Here, like this thing is kind of like all a leak. Well, I'm coloring on the black. Here, turn off the black. So we're coloring underneath the black now, and it's like, well, all right, we're gonna plug that up. The hand over here is leaking, so we're gonna plug that up. This looks like it might be a leak. We're just gonna make sure. So other than that, those three places were our culprits. They were the spots that were leaking. So now we turn the black channel back on again. So now we're working full CMYK. We take our wand, we click it, boom. So that was what? We did 3 brush clicks and a wand click. And we did not have to trace that entire shape. From here, you want to make sure that the flats go a little bit underneath the black. So we're going to select Modify Expand 1 pixel. We're going to turn off the black channel. And then we just fill it. Fill with the color. And there you go. And now we can kind of see like what it looks like. And like this looks a little weird, so let's, just fix it. That's all I gotta do. So that's basically what I was doing, but I was doing it very, very fast when we were flatting before. It's super easy. And now you have like Superman's all set. So the problem now, here's the thing. You're going to want to be tempted to do it like on the insides of stuff, but like it only really works in that direction. Like we were fixing a large selection, we just wanted the outside, and this outside was totally clear. But like if we were like, okay, well, by that logic, like we can just grab his hand, right? Like we'll grab like a skin tone. I don't know. Here's a very bright pink skin tone, but we can just be like, oh, we're just gonna grab his hand like this, and then plug up there, and then be like, okay, hand. But now you're starting to run into the problem where you've got like this stuff going on, and you don't want that. So you can still use that technique, but you have to use it like this. When it comes to like stuff on the outside, you gotta go like that. So now we kind of like scooped up these little lines that are in here, deselect the blue, and we're ready to fill. And then for the other side, that's just like one line, you can kind of do that. And then we can take a little brush, boom, done. And now when you look at it, it's like, oh, it's all filled in. We got a rogue pixel. Look at this guy. He thinks he got away from us. He did not. But yeah, so that's kind of the flat technique. Yeah, I mean it's worth demonstrating because it's something that I breezed through before, and it's definitely something that people should know. One of the things that and we don't have to keep this open. And we're gonna fix the layers because apparently I accidentally duplicated, and then we have a trash layer. Yeah, so it's one of the things is that like I've been doing this for a long time, and some of the things that are second nature to me just from repetition and practice and whatever. I don't even think about. Like I was watching another colorist stream talk about how he's like rendering fur, and someone was like, "Oh, I have no idea how to render fur," and that's something that comes along with practice that you can just do by watching people, and then but also like practice is the best tool for it. At any rate, slowing down is worth it. Showing you guys how it works is worth it. So now, I know I said I was going to try a bunch of different brushes, but I might not actually do that because I'm a little bit pressed for time today. So I had a couple unexpected covers come in. So we're gonna try to actually flow through this thing hard and fast, quick and dirty. We're gonna throw just a little bit of color into these windows. I don't want to throw too much of a highlight in because I don't want it to pull focus from Superman. I just want it to kind of be, uh, framing and have them read as glass. Uh, and I was watching. I don't know if you guys know who K. Michael Russell is. He's another colorist, and he does classes on coloring that you can buy online, and he's very talented as well. He ran a stream the other day, and he was talking about he's a very different colorist than I am. He not better, not worse, just different. With Photoshop, there's a million different techniques. You can pretty much color however which way you want to color. So these kind of like all have a similar shape. They're all kind of like this, and this kind of has a scoop to it. So we're gonna just ignore the scoop. Because we want it to echo what's going on here. And I wasn't sure if this was a window or not, but we're just gonna deselect it. So we're gonna throw a little bit of grad, a little bit of color. Just pick that color up, screen, and maybe a lighter color. So K. Michael Russell, again, great guy, and you should look him up, follow him on Twitter, follow him here, follow him everywhere. Follow him to his house. Follow him, wherever you want. Uh, the way he was working was he had a huge list of layers. The layers had different attributes, and then he was doing selections within the mask of the layers that were set to different colors and stuff, and it was like all like real fucking complicated. not I'm not It's not a slight, like I said, like his the way he works for him, which is awesome. But like I don't think that you need all that. Uh, I think that you can just like we're working on one layer. I'm making the selection and I'm putting the color in. And his actually might be a little bit better for playing with sliders because the way he's working on it is he's going to say, okay, so the top layer is going to be, it's going to screen down on the characters, and we're going to select this color is the color that it's going to screen. He's essentially selecting the light um, all at once, and then he's going in and then masking using masks and fucking crazy ass Photoshop voodoo to like fix it. So if he turns those pages in and is like, and the person's like, well, we don't want this light source. We don't want this color for the light. We need you to change it. It's Superman's looking a little too blue. Whatever. He'll go, oh, okay, slider done. Um, the way that I color is a little more permanent than that. We're working one layer. We're just going in and doing it. Uh, but I think that the reason that I ended up here and he ended up there is because Photoshop had far less horsepower when I started, and so I didn't really have that option. And then so I learned on the fly, like, you know, uh, I don't have a lot of room for error, so like let's make it as good as we can. And then I like just through sheer freaking tenacity of will and stubbornness, like uh, tried to power through corrections. So now I got used to like how I color and how to correct it. And like if I turned this in and they were like, "Well, we were really hoping for a daytime scene." Like, yes, I would have to redo it. He might not have to. That's the thing. Is like so it comes with advantages and disadvantages. My way is a little bit easier to learn, but his way definitely would help you in if you're getting like a lot of corrections from editors or from artists. Uh, it would definitely save you some time. But my thing is like, let's just do it right the first time. And also, let's communicate with our artists so that we know what's going on and we know um, the intention of the piece, and read the scripts. And we're adding a little bit of shine onto this, but I was being kind of lazy about it. Uh, not that I'm saying that he doesn't do that. I'm sure he does that. He's a very talented guy. Uh, but yeah, I think there's an easier way, is what I'm saying. Is like you can go that way and you can learn all those things, but what I'm doing right here is just like one layer, turning off the black, and just go. Just start coloring. You can't. There's no wrong answer, and this is the way I learned. Is like I made a bunch of crappy pieces, and they were hard to correct, and eventually I started getting it right, and eventually it started working well for me. Um, and that doesn't look good. So we're gonna take a blue, maybe a green. Ooh, ooh. Lex is looking a little sinister, like he wants to start some shit. Um, all right. But yeah, absolutely follow him if you want like another take on Photoshop. If you're like, this stuff is Nick Filardi, he's a basic bish. Like maybe just check him out as well. Um, I'm part of a little colorist chat room, and on Twitter, and uh, I feel like so what am I looking for here? Let me think for a second. So right now I'm looking at Kyle Webster's brush pack. We're looking for Dry Media Conte 2. This brush is fantastic. Um, so this brush is a little bit rougher. Like I said, dry media. Um, we're just going to add a little bit of tooth and grit to this ledge. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's nerfect. Get the ledge like kind of shining up. So yeah, he's always trying to. You would think that like after what 80 years of losing, he would like, I don't know, just like manage a hedge fund and shut the fuck up. But whatever. I'm not, it's not my business. uh, Also, you would think after this long, he would figure out who Superman is. He cares this much. So we're just doing like a little bit of, because like I said, this is not the focus, so we're just gesturing in a little bit of color, so it doesn't look flat, but it is a flat billboard, so we're not going to get too crazy. As I put secondary highlights in. Fuck, I got too crazy. Maybe just the one on his head was enough. I think the one on his head was enough. Alright. So yeah. I was thinking about maybe having a little bit of light shine up, but there's not a whole lot of room for it to... I want it readable on Superman. Thank you. Yeah, the pink is doing well. So I was thinking the other night, after we got done, that I wanted to do like a little bit of like rim light on the bottom of Superman here, like this kind of thing. I mean, I'm going very, very fast here. Um, and, like that kind of, like, light them up like that kind of thing. But there's, like, no real way to, like, denote it from here. You know what I mean? Like, he's flying over this. So I don't think the yellow is going to work, but I think we're going to try to do something similar. Hopefully we can go back far enough. Thank you. Uh, so I think we're going to try something similar. Do the thing with the other thing. I'm trying. Um, Sorry to hydrate like that right on the mic, but man, it is hot in Florida. We're gonna put some sass and pep back here in the buildings. Maybe we can actually add a little bit of yellow and make it work. Um, Maybe we can. You guys, right now we're about to get high on our own supply. Um, Paint box, where's the splatters? There they are. Organic noise. What sounds good? What sounds good? Okay, so I know I just said at the top of this thing that we're not going to use brushes that I don't normally use, but here we are. Uh, there's like I thought there was like a Cosmos. These are all halftones. Pressure control 2. Let's try this. Nope. No spells no. I want something like kind of tight. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Maybe it is. Trying to figure out what we want brush wise. Maybe that's the brush. Can go thin? No, you can't. Pressure concentrate. Oh, that one's beautiful, but not what we want. Yeah, I think maybe pressure. Let's see, pressure control 1. Yeah, maybe pressure control 1. It's pressure control is like. I wish that the pressure control was um, quantity, not thickness. But it looks like we can make it work. All right, we got pressure control. We're gonna set it to screen, and we're gonna try to put some the lights in the back here. And we're gonna zoom in a little so, the rest of the stream can see it. Not just me hunched over this fucking thing. Oh, I changed the flow, not the opacity. I don't know. Okay. So at the top here, there's like opacity and flow. And I wish, like, when you hit a number button, which is some of what my key sets are on the side of this thing, it usually changes the opacity. And I wish that I could like swap between the two, but I don't know that we necessarily can. So we're just going to kind of gesture these things in. And this doesn't have to be perfect either, because it's like way in the background, and we're pretty zoomed in. So, like once we zoom out, it's like super tiny. We're just trying to make it look like maybe there's some people living up here. I don't know if this is working. On second thought, maybe we'll just leave the splatter and that's it. We'll do the same thing over here. I mean, hopefully this works as far as the texture down. Like I said, I haven't really played with the splatter brushes, like barely at all. But maybe these guys are like so far in the back. See, now it just looks like splatter. I was hoping that I could get like uh the splatter to just look like lights in the distance, but that might not be happening. I might have to just put them in by hand. We're gonna work on flaring up the yellow as well, so that maybe we can do something like that for Superman. But it's gonna hinge on if if this works well, if this is a good solution. Because if it isn't, we go back to the drawing board, which is totally fine. I think that's starting to look good. We're gonna put a little more detail into the buildings back here, and these guys are like supposed to be glass, so we can just throw a grad through them, and then like a shine through the side of it. That's a little too much. Since it's architecture, let's use the lasso because I want it to kind of be precise, at least the whisper of precision. And I will be the first to say that precise is kind of not what I do when it comes to coloring. So this is me a little outside my comfort zone, which is okay. Oh, these guys are selected back here. Select by color. Yeah, so I'm selecting the entire individual chunks of the same color with one keystroke by using the wand, and then this button here, contiguous. Um, when you select it here, well, let me finish this up and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. So, that is not there. Yeah, so the contiguous button essentially says like, do you want to select this selection um, in all the places that I can reach, or do you want to select this selection in the entire canvas? Um, all right. So we're gonna move on to this selection here. Um, here's the wand. Hey, boys. So now, with it on, I can be like, oh well, it might be joined. Yeah, it is joined. So like we selected these two, but we did not select these guys over here. We can be like, okay, boom, boom. Or we can make that same selection with one click. There you go. Uh, but we only want these two. So these guys are we're gonna get knocked out back there. And we're gonna start tweaking the Daily Planet thing too. That thing's gonna be fun because it's a giant like chrome piece. Uh, and we wanna actually take out the shadows on these because they're if anything we want to go lighter because if we start to go darker on these guys, then they'll start to compete with these buildings. So we want to go lighter. And if they start to compete with the buildings up here, then the whole piece starts to like flatten out. So it looks like I'm going to roll with the black that is in these sides here and kind of make shadows according to the windows, the black in the windows. again, we're just deselecting places where we don't want to highlight. All right, so let's go over here. And I don't know if this was Kyler's intention, sorry. God, man, fucking names. Uh, I'm a terrible person. Don't watch this stream. Unfollow. Uh, Kyler, I don't know if this was his intention with the shadows, but we're gonna take what he put down and roll with it in a smart way that echoes the color. Man, you know, I was like, oh, let's do Community Day, and then I picked the person with the most complicated name for the first one. I'm like, great, great, way to go, Flardy, you crushed it. All right, I don't know. Maybe a pink. Pink starts to fix the problem. Maybe desaturate it a little. Yeah, that's starting to look better. We can add an additional kind of shine to it too. Kind of like pop out the top. There we go. You know, I should know you choose your own last name. I wish. Uh, but I should know what my point is that I got excited about the Superman piece and I did not look at the exact Kyler's exact name and what I should have done is looked at the name first and not the piece because I should be able to know by now to like life hack myself, but and like not create the potential problem of misspelling or misspelling names while I'm like focused on something else. Kyler, I apologize again, man. I like if anything, I'm gonna like butcher your name and then never forget you because of the guilt, the crushing guilt. Uh, so we're just adding a little shines onto the sides of the buildings here. Um, my crushing guilt does not care if it's all good. We're gonna add a little bit of shingles because I guess we put shingles on skyscrapers now. Just gonna pop a few of these on, and then amp up some of them to kind of create a shine. Because not all of them are going to catch the light in exactly the right way. And actually, we got most. So the way I see the piece is that like sun is going down behind the buildings, um, and then the buildings are like slightly lit from the bottom with street light and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we want to do for Superman as well. So with that in mind, excuse me, I kind of want to play with the idea of like we're going to push these guys way back because they're way in the distance. That's going to make more sense in a little bit. I know they look like ghost buildings right now. Um, but let's kind of play with that idea with like a hard like rim light around the buildings here. We're only going to do it for these guys in the kind of middle ground. Um, but let's use like a red. And I hope this works. We might have to zoom in a little, get it right. The red might actually not be bright enough, so we might have to like put the red in and then try tweaking it with this. Yeah, so we're gonna make it like real intense. So that looks pretty good, and we'll do it on this side of this building too. I assume we're gonna put the sun like near where the vanishing point is to kind of amp up the vanishing point a little bit, accentuate it. All right. So now it kind of looks like those buildings are getting like a hard light, and then the rest of Cloudflower. Please, Magi, don't plant that seed. Don't you put that on me. All right, let's play with the Daily Planet over here. So Chrome is super fun. If I could have my choice, I would work on an Iron Man book. So I really like Chrome and cars and that kind of thing. I think they're super fun to play with. Uh, I've never done text within Chrome. This is gonna be interesting. But the reason I think that Chrome is super fun is because it's high uh, contrast, and it also like reflects a ton of light. Um, so it's really interesting. Um, Iron Man's basically a walking car, and like every car I've ever had in any book, I've loved working on. So uh, Iron Man editorial, if you're watching, I'm your guy. You let me know. Um, oh, was that Iron Man editorial? Oh no, it was just RJ Soria. But thank you for the follow. Again, reading names. I'm in a visual medium. Apologies all around if I got it wrong. uh, so we're gonna put the rim light around the edge of this because it looks like this is what Kyler wanted. And then we're also gonna put it underneath because we're kind of lit from underneath. This is like the ticker that moves around. Like it's not a ticker. It's like I don't know, the piece around the globe. So do that, but let's warm it up. Let's warm it up. Jeffrey, he's joined us. Welcome aboard. Alright. So we can kind of amp up the shines in here. And then kind of put like some hard light in there. Put the same kind of undertone in on some of the letters. Alright. That works. Alright. Maybe we gotta warm it up a little. Make it a little more orange so that it's recognizable as the Daily Planet. It's blending a little too hard, so we can easily do that. We're just going to use the color balance to make it a little more copper. There we go. A little more copper. A little bit. A little bit. Little bits. Alright. Okay. Now, we're going to do something dramatic and start to knock out the line art for the buildings. And we're going to get to Superman in just a bit. He's kind of the best part of this thing, so we're saving our desserts for last. We're very rough right now. with what we're selecting. All right, so let's deselect. Now what I'm going to be doing is grabbing all of the line art for these buildings in the back. There's something called atmospheric perspective, which means that things that are furthest away from you during the daytime start to blend into the background sky color, especially over large distances. And that's what we got going on here. So um, we can make these buildings blend into the background a little bit more by uh, knocking out the line art into a color. So let's start to do that. And if it's at night, it flips the other way. The lightest things are the things that are closest to you, and the darkest things are the things that are far away. It basically, the rule of thumb is that it always just blends into the night sky. The things that are the furthest away blend into the night sky or day sky, and it just whatever value it happens to be. Um, so yeah, we're gonna punch all that line art out. So to slow down, I made the selection of all the line art, selected the black level over here, took my wand out. Wait, what? Are we still doing phrasing? Um, unclick contiguous, and then been like, okay, no white spaces. So I deselected all the white. So now we're only working on the black. We go back to CMYK, and now when we do a fill, it fills all of the black with a color. And we don't want that blue, but we want something dark and purple. And that is starting to look right. Now, here's the other thing, too. We're working in CMYK, and this is something that everybody always says, Nick, you got to work in RGB because the shines look better. But if we colorize the line art, the shines are going to look fine. And actually, we want the shines to interact with the background here and not the foreground, because then it'll help separate the planes a little bit more. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a little bit of shines for the sun going down. It's going to create just a little bit of variance. And I know that, it's kind of a weird palette we got going on here, but it'll make sense in the end. Like when you just look at these buildings, you're like, why are the buildings purple? But like, when you zoom out, it's like, oh, this is pretty. So it's everything in context. So we're adding a little bit of shine onto the Daily Planet there, and we're also warming it up a little bit. Start to get it to look nice. And then we want to add a shine through the sky. Oh, we can select the sky, can't we? Excellent. I thought ahead. Past me, the best version of me. And we want to deselect the foreground buildings. So let's just do that. We can't do that. They're not even selected to begin with. Let me think about this for a second. I have to figure out exactly what I want to do. Okay. All right, I'm there. We're going to feather the so we selected the sky. We're going to feather the selection like 60 pixels. All right. So now you look at it, just went like all blobby. Basically, it took the hard selection and just faded the selection 60 pixels out. So it'll now when we put a little gradient through the whole thing, it's going to go 60 pixels from the sky in, which adds kind of a haze. And the more we put down, the more it's gonna kind of register correctly. And I like that, and we're actually gonna amp it up a little more. And it doesn't matter if it bleeds into on the buildings and stuff, because we're working on a separate layer for the shine. All I want to look at is the buildings back here. This is all we're looking at right now. So we're gonna actually take like a red. Yeah, now we're cooking. All right. That looks good. It's starting it's starting to compete with Superman, which was not my intention. I think I went down the rabbit hole of like uh getting super into the buildings, just like and narrowed my focus, but fuck it. Like we'll fix it later. Uh so we're gonna take let's turn the shines off for a second. Um let's select back here and Superman, and then select the inverse. So now we're just selected the buildings, and we're just going to maybe, fingers crossed, if all of you believe at home, maybe clap your, what do they do? When Tinkerbell dies, what do they do? Like clap your hands or whatever? Everybody at home, clap your hands. Uh, if if Kyler closed this contiguous line, contiguous, it's the word of the day. This constant line, I can deselect this and it won't bleed into anything and it'll just select the things in the foreground. Let's find out. Pretty close. This is still selected. This is still selected, but like it deselected around the Lex Luthor thing, so that's good. The billboard. So we just gotta handle this, which should be easy. Boom, one click. Yeah, yeah. Is that it? Maybe. We want to make sure. So the buildings in the background right now don't have any black selected. This is like, we were joking around a lot the first part, and now I'm like deep into like explaining shit, and I apologize. I feel like the first one was like, let's fuck around and have a good stream, and now it's like, all right, now let's get serious. And that was not my intention, but here we are. Um, so we can make jokes about Thanos later. We're just gonna select, make sure that we're affecting all of the black. Um, yes. I mean, it selected Superman too. That's fine, because I don't think any of the shines actually reach up to Superman. And we're just gonna, boom, mask it off, essentially, but without using a mask. So now the shines are just in the back, and they are not in the foreground at all, which is perfect, just the way we wanted. I think I am going to turn them down just a bit because they're a little loud, but I think ultimately that's starting to look right. Um, I actually think that the little circle grad that I put into this billboard is working against it because it kind of looks like it belongs in part of the shine there, but it should not. It's like it's too similar to the circle grad that I put in before, so let's just fill it. See now, okay. Um, we're gonna go back in the steps just so we can see. So like, this looks like the shine. I keep pointing, thinking you can see what I'm pointing at. You can't actually see what I'm pointing at. This grad that we pulled, this sun, is gonna get stopped by the billboard here. So we pulled the grad from here, like a radial grad circle, center of the circle out, and this grad that we put in the beginning of the stream on the billboard now looks like it's part of this, and that is not what we want. We want the billboard to be like, boom, dead stop, you know? Uh, so, yeah, let's scroll back down. Now it's a dead stop. And we could put a grad in the bottom, which I think we might actually do. Yeah, yeah. And the grad's a little cooler too, so not like, super hip, but in temperature. We're using like a blue um so it looks like it's getting bounce light from the street. Uh or from the top of this thing, which is perfect. It's perfect. So now we're gonna work on Superman, and these birds back here. Actually, I don't know if we're even gonna like really get into the birds. You know what? Why don't we just like darken them up and knock out the line art? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. The lights on the bottom, not from the sun in the back. Yeah, and that's what we tried to emphasize. So we're gonna assume these birds are far away from Superman and kind of do that. All right. Now let's figure out what we're going to do with Superman. So we kind of have light bouncing from the street a little bit, maybe, but not really in the foreground where Superman is. And then we kind of have like, I don't know. It's a little ambiguous with the lighting currently. Um, there's also this giant shadow, which kind of I didn't really think about initially. Um, which kind of denotes that like there's light coming this way. So, from like top bottom. So let's light Superman top bottom because it works with the shadow, and I would rather work with than against. Um, hmm. So originally I made them dark to kind of work dark to light. So we're gonna see if my mind can work that way because I'm so used to working light to dark. Maybe we'll just paint some stuff in. What time is it? 4:51. How long have we been streaming? An hour? We could just paint some stuff in. Like kind of see where we end up. Oh yeah, we're using the splatter brush. Let's see how that looks just to see. Oh god, it's terrible. Oh god, that is not the tool for the job. Uh, we goofed it. We're gonna go back to mm, the dry media Conte 2. I love this brush. I can't stop using it. So we just selected we're on the black channel. We just selected the base color of what Superman is right now, and I'm just gonna gesture in. Um, we set it to screen and just put it down, and this is the color that's popped up. We want to keep him very blue. You know what? Let's make sure that we're only on that stuff. We want to make sure he's very blue. We're going to throw a grad through him. So remember when I said you want to be careful with roping stuff off when I was talking about the flat stuff? That's what's happened in here in the Superman S. Like, I got lazy about it because I didn't want to like really trace it. And we got all these like chunks of blue that are like hanging out in the middle of the Superman thing that are like underneath the black. And it's fine, but if I got that from a flatter, I would be irked because this is the thing. Like I know my intentions with this piece. The flatter does not. So like this might fuck me later, and I don't know. So it's easy to blame yourself, but when it's somebody else doing it, it's like, oh god damn it, you fucked it, you know? So we're just gonna kind of go in and brush it in a little bit. Superman's probably gonna cast a little bit of a shadow down here from his big doofy head. And he's got the elbow back here. We're just doing very general shapes, so we can kind of like see what we're working with. And we're gonna throw like a grad through the whole thing and then like amp it up. Yeah, colorists and flatter are different people. Usually, like 9 times out of 10. That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of goofed it, and if I turned those flats in, like, somebody could call me on it. If I was flatting for somebody professionally, I would not be doing that. But since we're just having some fun here, it's not that big of a deal. And I only have myself to blame, so there's also that aspect. So, like I said, we're just putting on the blue tone and not the Ritz. Putting on the blue tone for Superman's suit. And if he is lit from the top, then this point around this child who is being held and protected for the first time in his entire life and is openly weeping because Superman, saves him, and that's not something that we would ever dream about in our wildest fantasies, being protected and cradled by the Man of Steel. So what we're gonna do is just kind of like put a grad down through it as well, uh, to kind of amp it up, and it'll also halo the child's head right there. Um, so we just set it to screen, um, and Superman's starting to pop off. Uh, Another thing another advantage of that is that his leg is starting to recede a little bit, and we're gonna amp that up by I took like 50%. Oh, we deselected, didn't we? Yeah, let's keep the selection. Um, I got like 50% of the dark color there, and I'm just like kind of amping up making it kind of 2-layered. And we can kind of take this selection up here, kind of just put it in a highlight. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're using a very rough brush, and we're gonna pop in some little bit of highlights, uh, glowing red highlights, to let you know he's evil. Yeah, I agree. Um, but speaking of glowing red highlights, we are gonna do something kind of similar to that. Whoa, that is not the color. So now we have the screen is like messing with our colors here. Um, so we're gonna turn that off, and then all right. So we have like a little bit of I want to do a little bit of under light here, like from the sky, and we're gonna just like pencil it in, see how it looks. We're just shucking and jiving. No wrong ideas. Just shucking and jiving. Um, so, whoa, that is not what we wanted. Oh, you've done a thing. Photoshop? I swear to God. We are going to try to fix this. Flatten image, discard hidden layers. No. We are not going to try to fix this. So the reason why everything kind of like faded right then was because this is layer 0 instead of the background, and I'm not exactly sure we can like flatten it, which marries the shine to the background, which I don't want to do, or we can merge visible. But I don't know if yeah, merge visible doesn't do anything. Um, hmm. I don't know if there's a way to get that to click back to the background. The reason that it faded there is because I hit a number button and I didn't have a tool that used the number button, and so the number button faded this opacity down here. Um, and normally you can't fade a background, but here we are. It's a layer now. I think because I did like some goofy stuff with the layers. So real quick, this color here is fucking terrible. Like this right here, uh, it it's like this half committed gray, and we don't want that shit. We don't want that shit in our house. So we're gonna try to warm it up. So this is starting to look good. I think that the yellow is just like a little too yellow, and that maybe we can, yeah, like warm it up with that pink, and then like make the highlight harder. I don't know if this is working quite right. Maybe it'll work better when we put more of it on there. Is that a thing? Like you just keep doing it and then eventually it'll work? Let's find out. Um, so we're still working on the Superman suit here. This is kind of like this dark piece between like the clavicle and the muscle. We're gonna put a little bit of darkness in here. Darkness. We got kind of like a muscle thing going, muscle group going on here, so we're gonna amp that up with like a little bit of a little fold in there. We're gonna grab a highlight from over there, kind of put it in. It's a little strong, but it's alright. We'll get there. Like I said, we're just like roughing this in. That is bad. We don't want to. Sloppy is fine. Bad is wrong. All right. We're gonna put some more highlights down here. Kind of like just amp up the shapes that are going on here. Plaid is always an option, but we're gonna. It's not really. It doesn't really fit our brand currently. Um, so we're just kind of like sculpting it out, kind of thing. Um, kind of getting a little painterly with it. This is probably like I'm probably spending way more time on this than I probably should. As far as like the Supermans, the the Supermans, I'm spending way too much time with the Supermans. Um, no, I mean with kind of like sculpting it out. See, the thing is that I'm treating this like a cover instead of an interior page because it's single image. My brain is focused on that. Um, we're gonna do one more layer. of shine. We're just putting in little bits of highlights. And we're going to put it up here as well. Cool. So Superman's starting to be getting there. I actually do want to kind of like chill out. His clavicle's like fucking really pronounced, but we can fix that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We want to take this super dark area too and kind of put it under his chin, and that's going to make like a little bit more sense once we get into the red and yeah, once we get into this cape and crest. Yeah, I like the way it's coming out. I'm happier now than I was when we began because it's looking a little more unique. The everybody kind of does pink all the time, um, and so I didn't want to go there, but we ended up there, and so I was kind of like, well, you know, like fuck it, we're here. Uh, I kind of feel like pink always ends up looking good, um, but I kind of feel like it's one of those things that's like just a little bit of a crutch because like Photoshop. Here's the thing: when you're putting something into print, um, the things that are going to look best are cyan, magenta, and yellow, and mixtures of those colors. Um, the just because the printing process leans that way, which is why like pink stuff looks really good. It's because cyan and magenta work really well together. Um, at least that's my 2 cents on it. That's like, you know, I'm not an expert, but this is how it feels like intuitively to me. I don't know if it's actual truth. So we're gonna do the same thing we did with Superman, where we kind of just gestured it in, and then uh, threw a grad through the whole thing. Oh, we gotta do that. We gotta do the S as well. Let's do the S. So he's got his big dumb face, and it's gonna be casting a shadow. So let's do that. And then he's got the shadow of his muscles that we don't covet at all. Um, so we're gonna do that, and then kind of like 50% down here, paint it in a little bit. Um, some artists make the crest kind of shiny, and some don't. I kind of don't know where I fall on it. I haven't done enough Superman stuff to really come down on like one way's good, one way's bad, but so I don't know if that bounce light really works. All right, let's throw a grad down. So one of the things with superhero comics is like, hoo, baby, we're spicy now. Uh, I wonder. I wonder. It's too pink. So we got to go in, and he looks like he's like fucking glowing off this page, which is kind of sweet. But one of the things with superhero comics is like Superman's got to be identifiable. It's got to be He's got to be bright. because he's Superman, and it's also like I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like you can't get too wild without um, with the color with a Superman piece, unless I was doing like a green sky and everything was cast in a green light. Um, I think then we can get wild, or he's like getting blasted by Metallo's kryptonite like core. Then we can get wild. But as it is right now, we're kind of in a place where it's like, well, so Superman still has to look like classic Superman as he's saving this kid and holding him in his arms, and it's something that we've never thought about. We gotta like, you know, still communicate Superman, and so we're gonna do our best job to do that. Um, we actually, oh, that's skin tone, right? Yeah, Kyler told us that was skin tone the last stream. All right, so he's kind of got like the cape snaking around him, so I'm just kind of making a quick call as to like the shading. Putting in a little bit of bounce light there. Um, that's light that's kind of like bouncing off the kid into the cape. And we're going to try to do the same thing here. And this again, this is just very, very general. All right, it's starting to look good. It's starting to look like the cape's like taking some shape. It's got a little bit of tooth to it, like it feels like a fabric because of the brush that we're using. And to be honest, like brushing it in like this is taking a long time. uh, oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys think it's looking good. Uh, so brushing stuff in like this takes a lot longer than what I was originally doing. And if we, oh, wait a minute. So here's the thing about red and why red is well. Let me complete. Let's let's complete ideas before we start new ideas. Um, brushing the stuff in takes a long time, and it is a process that I'm not used to, which is probably why it takes a long time. Uh, I don't normally do this. This isn't how I like normally approach things, but I wanted to do something new for the stream. Not necessarily new, uh, like I've never done it before, because I've done it in the past, but I want to get comfortable trying out new things, and especially with stuff that's like this isn't going to print anywhere. Uh, so let's actually make it a learning experience. Now, the second idea that I was about to say was that red is really fickle to play with. Uh, red does this thing where it will start to turn pink very, very easily. And you add a little bit of white to red and you have pink, and it like you can't, as a human being, you just can't not read it as pink. So when you do read it as pink, it's like, oh, that you know it's like you try to do there's also a thing called saturation levels. Like you can only go so saturated on the page, which means that like your ink levels, like this Superman's face here is real dark, 73, 80, 58. So we're starting to get close to like the ink saturation point of like 250. Um, and I don't want to go over that because then we start to get like muddled inks. And so you can only go so dark with what you're doing safely. And so you can only make a dark red so dark without getting into trouble. And then with red, you can only go so light before it turns into pink. So red is a very like narrow piece, but because we set this up to be in the evening and a little bit pink. Like we can use like his cape is reading as red, but like this is definitely pink. Like this is what it looks like. Like that is pink, but it's reading as red, which is the more important thing. What I'm saying is I just broke your brain. I'm making you think about colors in ways that the colors are not actually appearing on the screen. Brain broken. You're welcome. Basically just mind freaked you. All right. So this part's kind of in the background. I actually think we might. So we have, like you said, like you can see, I can't go that dark on the red. Like that's dark red. This is as like dark as I ever want to go with red. Um, so we're gonna kind of darken up the darker spots. Yeah, yeah. It's why that fucking stupid dress went around the internet where people are like, it's white and gold. It's like I I think because I've been like looking at color for so long that I could not see it. I couldn't even see the white and gold. Like I couldn't even like trick my eyes to see the white and gold because it just looked like how it looked. Like because I understand that the color around it affected the color of the photo and uh it was like nope, it's blue and black. I don't know. I can't not see blue and black. Yeah. Colors around it affect the colors within it. Always. Um, so, cape's looking good. We're going to add a little bit of highlight in here. You know what? We could actually... I kind of want to add like a real highlight. There we go. And then like a real one over here. Now that is reading as like pink. But that's okay because we got a pink atmosphere. Um, cool. Yeah, Superman's popping off, man. Uh, we can actually throw in a little bit of highlight on the S2. Maybe not that much of a highlight, but just a little bit, because you do want the crest legible as well. Man, the crest is all over the place, and part of the reason it looks like it's all over the place is because um, the yellow is not like I haven't thought about the yellow yet. All right, we probably should have done the yellow and the red at the same time, but here we are. You know, let's figure out what we're doing. So that puts a little bit of orange in there. Actually, let's darken. Now we're way off the reservation. Let's go back to what we're doing. Uh, let's just throw this color as a grad in there. Let's deselect the shadow for the chin for his face. Just throw it in. And now let's yellow it up because it does not read as yellow. There we go. Starting to look good. Um, hmm. It's like it's reading as yellow, but we can make it read a little better. No, that's not what we want. Magenta. Oh, oh, that's perfect. All right. Skin tones, kid, done. And we might actually add a little bit more in like the highlight back here. So here's the thing you want to keep in mind when you do something like this. You start to add the highlight back there. Is that I'm thinking about something else while we're working here. Is that you want to your highlight even though it might be technically correct to put like a highlight in here and a highlight on him, and actually that sounds really good, so we're gonna probably do that. But when you start to like pop that stuff in, like you probably also want to put a highlight in the cape back here and right here and right here. But we also want to preserve a silhouette of Superman. Uh, the idea, the Kyler drew this very well, and I don't want to criticize him. But if I did have a criticism for him, it's that um, the cape, like this shape, starts to, and this shape here starts to affect what we read as the silhouette um, of Superman. And that's fine. You know, like this happens all the time. This happens with pro comic artists and stuff like that. This is what a colorist does. This is what I think about. Um, I think about like how do we make everything read correctly. So even though we're going to throw in some highlights and stuff, which we're going to do at the very end, uh, we're going to try to think about um, uh, the silhouette when we do that and how to amp up what Kyler has put down. So, like we were doing before, we're using a very dark color. We just select it, select screen, and just kind of like paint it in. And it's reading as a good tone because the tones that we initially put down all had a little bit of purple mixed in, so that it's all like playing off that. And we're just going to kind of just paint it in. Uh, we're gonna have to get way more precise, like on the head, because people read faces in a very particular way. It's like just bred into our biology, but we can kind of tweak everything else. Very generally, the hands can just be very general, because those are going to be legible no matter what. Um, but yeah, we're actually gonna get into the head and like kind of like um, get a little more technical. So keep in mind we're still lit from above, even though we're going to do the rim light from below. Um, so we're going to try to kind of gesture that in. So like this is what I'm thinking about. Well, like the rim light is going to be like here, and then like here. And then I was thinking like, is it here? I don't know. Maybe. Does that look right? Kind of. So we want to keep the rim light in the darkest parts of the hand so that it looks the best. If the rim light is in the darkest part of the hand, and it's not, if you put the rim light on a lighter part of the hand, it's just going to read as a highlight on the lighter part and not as like a rim light separate from that light source. So, um, and this is just like rules of thumb kind of thing. Like, as far as like communicating the idea quickly. A lot of times, when you get into like actual painting and you get models to sit for you and you start to like do studies and things like that, like this is not always going to be the right thing. It's not always going to work out that way, but for right now, for comic books, we're in the right headspace. So, um, so we're just kind of gesturing in like where we want the skin tones, and like just like a little bit on these guys because they're gonna fall back a little bit. I kind of want to like so Kyler put this like vein on his hand that's kind of neat, so we're gonna try to amp up because my hands are jacked up, so Superman's hands are got to be equally as jacked up. Let me tell you, doing this all day, every day, it'll jack up your hands. And I'm also like currently hunched over. I was looking for a highlight to put on Twitter, which by the way, you should follow me on Twitter. My handle's right below. I put a lot of like highlights and I write when I go live and blah 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 blah. You know, you want to follow me on Twitter if you're into this stuff. Um, and I noticed that I'm like hunched over the whole time, and I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I'm 35. I'm like 10 years back problems, if not sooner. I suppose I could do something about it. I was actually thinking like, I saw that shit and I was like, fuck, I gotta get a standing desk. So that's reading okay, but it's still reading like really dark. Um, Maybe we gotta throw a screen down. Maybe like a more pinkish. Oh, that's warming up, but maybe a red. Yeah, now we're starting to warm up. So that warms up a little bit, but I don't know if that's Soups. You look too tan, man. What can we do to fix that? Lifting up cars? Yeah. Yeah, you would think. Uh, Thanks, Boix, for putting my Twitter handle into the chat. If people want to follow, they or if you dig this, you should follow. Um, there we go. The yellow was the problem. We just need a little bit of yellow to get the skin tone to read right. Uh, yeah. So, like I was saying before about hacking your brain, like this looks like a highlight on Superman's face, but like this is the color we're using. It's like this mauve, like kind of fucking bullshit. Like, uh, just how to solve the hunching problem. Oh my god, never, never. Am I trying to build my own racing sim? The answer is yes. We can put the. This is how to solve the hunching problem. No, no. He does look very comfortable. If I was, I actually just had the thought. I was like, yeah, actually that he does look very comfortable. But I think if that was how I solved the hunching problem, I would be asleep at the desk a lot of the time, like a stupid amount of the time. Oh, whoops, we're in the black channel. All right. So we're gonna try to fix, not fix, but just kind of get a little more precise with uh, what's going on with Superman here. So he's kind of like lit from above, but also like it's kind of like this way. It's top down. So he's gonna have a little bit of shadow on his nose, a little bit of shadow like here, like maybe here as well. Um, we kind of want to point out. So I lost some of Kyler's line art in the when I like made it into black and white. Um, so I want to kind of like put the lip back in. It's like looking a little better. You know what? That's looking a little bit better, but it's still looking rough. We might not be able to use the rough inker there, or the rough pen. We might need to do things more precise and just use the regular pencil. Yeah, that's gonna look a lot better. So corners of the nose kind of point to where the corners of the lips are, and we're gonna put a highlight on his bottom lip so that we like drive it home that that's what's going on. Um, but that's starting to look right. Um, we're gonna get into highlights in a minute, but I also kind of want to put a cast shadow of the hair, the iconic swirl. There we go. Um, Superman is always smiling, so he's got these nice little lines on the side of his head, side of his eyes. Um, we're gonna put highlights in and stuff, but we are, man, we are like almost there. But I've been streaming for an hour 41, and starting to get hungry, and it's 5:30, and I think I'm gonna go eat some dinner. So I mean, we're gonna short stream wrap up the kid here. Um, we This just took like a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Um, but yeah, we're close. We're close. I'll post a progress shot up on Twitter. Um, and we're going to you can talk about it there if you have any thoughts. We're gonna try to wrap it up. Maybe do a short stream tomorrow, just to wrap it up. It should be no more than like a half an hour, maybe. I say that now, but it'll go an hour. Um, yeah, we'll wrap that up tomorrow. Um, might have some young animal stuff. Still hashing it out with people this week. Might have some stuff for the Realm, which is a new book I'm working on that's coming out with Jeremy Hahn, Seth Peck. Uh, it's kind of like D&D motifed, and it's post-apocalyptic. It's super fun. We did a cover on stream before. I hope that I'm able to do that cover, but we're starting to get to the point where I'm on issue 4 and you guys haven't had issue 1 yet, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. So depending on the situation, I might be able to stream it, I might not. So I gotta check with the team. But at any rate, you will see me tomorrow. We will finish this off. I swear we're gonna finish this off. This was meant to be one stream, and we are on stream 3. So at any rate, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we will finish the Superman off. Thanks for coming by.